So it is Tuesday the 8th of October, and we are about to get hit with a hurricane that has me a little bit concerned. So if you've watched most of my other videos during the hurricanes as they go from south to north, when they enter the Caribbean and they go up the Gulf and they go north, usually it skirts along our coast, and Lakewood Ranch is about 15 miles inland, I would say. So they usually don't cause a lot of concern. It's usually more of a rain event, and sometimes it's a wind event, which we've seen a couple of years ago during one of the big name storms. We had maybe a few trees down. So today I want to tell you what my concerns are, what my concerns are not, and I'm going to try and keep these videos updated so you know what's going on here in the Lakewood Ranch area and the surrounding areas as Milton progresses. Hello, it's Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company. And in this channel, Living in Lakewood Ranch, we cover all the areas around Lakewood Ranch. And so today, we're going to cover the topic of what's going on with Milton. So the way we get prepared is, of course, we clean off the lanai deck and get everything put up, put inside, tied down. But I wanted to show you a lot of the people here in these neighborhoods are putting up their storm shutters. They know that this thing is coming and it could be rather large when it actually gets into the Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, in the Tampa Bay area. So you can see these people have already put up their storm shutters. Now, if we get 16 inches of rain like we did during Debbie, we're going to have some issues, I think, maybe with some localized flooding. And if you remember from some of the other videos I've put out, it's more that the groundwater or the ground area is pretty saturated and it won't have anywhere for the water to go. So I think that maybe the water level, depending on how much rain we get, could be an issue. Luckily, the last 2 days we haven't had a lot of rain, but our pond levels are kind of full. So let me show you this. So as you can see from this, our pond is pretty full, and that's the overflow drain back there in the back that you can probably make out. It is at about normal level. So I'm not too concerned about that right now, but what I am concerned about is how much water we actually have in the pond and how much overflow this thing is going to be able to handle. But the other thing I think that we're going to have a problem with is wind. So this one is going to be coming directly into the Tampa Bay, Sarasota area, and so I think that a lot of these trees that you see behind me, not so much the palms because they do pretty well, but a lot of the magnolias, a lot of the large oak trees, I think that we're probably going to see a lot of trees come down during this particular event. I am not concerned about the house. The only concern I would have about the house is the screens on the lanai cages. Now, I'm sure that a lot of these screens are going to be poked in and ripped off of the framing, because I've seen that happen quite a bit. In the last couple of storms, we've been very fortunate, but our screens now are a little loose. They're not as tight as what they were, and I'm talking about from a personal standpoint. The screens seem to be a little bit more loose. So I have an idea that we're going to have a lot of screens out, not just on our property, but a lot of screens out in the neighborhoods around Lakewood Ranch and, of course, all along the coast. So one of the reasons I'm not too concerned as far as the house is concerned is because all of these houses that are built after, I think it's 2005, are supposed to be built to withstand 150 mile an hour winds. And I'll show you one of the things that they have on these houses that gives it that structural integrity. So you see these darker colored spots on the block walls. Those are left open so that they knock a hole in it, and then they're left open so that when Manatee County comes along and checks for the slab and the rebar, that they know that it's there. So let me show you this. So this one right here has a piece of rebar that goes all the way into the slab that's in the ground, and then they fill this particular section full of concrete, and then they take that rebar strap and they connect it to the rafter on the roof, which secures the roof through the wall all the way down to the slab. And that's what keeps the roof on during a hurricane. So if I come over here, I don't think you can hear this, but hear how that sounds hollow? And then that sounds solid. That's because that's right above that spot where they have filled this little column area full of concrete, where the rebar goes up and attaches it to the rafters, which ties the roof system onto the house all the way down to the ground. According to code, they have to tie the roof to the slab. And then the other thing is that they have to have either hurricane impact windows or storm shutters like you see here on these houses. Like I was mentioning earlier, they have to have the storm shutters or the hurricane windows. Now, the hurricane windows are not meant to keep the windows from cracking. They're meant to stop any projectile from going into the house. So it could crack the outside of the window and not penetrate into the inside of the house, which is what it's designed to do. So you may have seen the advertisements where they take a baseball bat and crack the window, but the window doesn't fail on the inside to keep an object from actually coming into the interior of the home. The other thing I'm quite concerned about is the amount of storm surge that's going to be coming back onto Anna Maria Island. It was not a pretty sight during the last hurricane, and I don't think that they're going to fare too well on this particular one because of the amount of storm surge that's coming into the area. Now, if it is south of Tampa, if it comes in closer to the Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota area, then the water would probably be sucked out of Tampa Bay. But if it's anywhere near Tampa, it's going to put water up into Tampa Bay. So that will also create a not a very good outcome in my opinion, but we're gonna wait and see. We are being inundated with text messages and alerts from Manatee County, from Florida Power and Light, from Tico Gas. Now, our house has hurricane windows, and it also has a whole house generator. So we're going to see how we handle this particular storm, see if we do have any power outages, which I think that we are expecting some power outages for this particular storm. And I'm going to try and keep you updated so you can see what is actually going on in the Lakewood Ranch area. And as soon as the storm passes, I'll try and get out and get some footage so that the people that maybe have homes here that are not here, that have vacated, will be able to see what kind of results we're getting from the neighborhoods. Home Depot today was packed. So was Lowe's. We went out for a few supplies, and look at all the people that are in Home Depot. I didn't know that they had so many generators that they could keep in stock. They evidently brought in a lot for this storm, because it seemed like every person in checkout line had a small generator on one of those dollies that they were checking out. So people are getting prepared to have this storm last a while, and they're considering the power outages. The other thing is I-75 has been pretty busy with people leaving the state. We did that in 2017, went to Atlanta when we were closer to the coast and we didn't feel as safe out there on the coastline. And I do hope that all those people along the barrier islands have evacuated as the suggestions made. Now, we were under a mandatory evacuation for zones A, B, and C. Now, those are not flood zones, those are evacuation zones. So those don't have anything to do with what the elevation is for the particular house. They have to do with where the houses sit along either a river or the streams that are coming in, or along the coast, and then how much flood water is predicted to rise for the actual incoming hurricane. So A, B, and C evacuation zones. That's why so many people were getting out of the area and heading out of state on I-75. Lakewood Ranch is not in an evacuation zone. And like I said in one of my other videos, we don't want to say a no flood zone. We are in the X flood zone, which usually means, I think X is a 500-year flood zone, or 100 to 500 year is what X is. But Lakewood Ranch itself sits at about 47 feet above sea level. So we're in pretty good shape here as far as that's concerned. But the groundwater saturation is what really is going to determine this. And it looks like this is not going to have that much rain associated with this particular storm like I said before, it's probably going to be more of a wind event. Now, because Country Club East is a newer neighborhood, we don't have as many tall trees as you have, like say in Lakewood Ranch Country Club or in Greenbrook or in some of those neighborhoods. So they might fear just a little bit worse than what we do as far as number of trees going down. Now, one of the storms that we did have took out a lot of the magnolia trees, which you can see behind my shoulder there, that were on the main drag, because those get full sun. They're in pretty big size-wise for catching the wind. So we will see what's going on with that. So stay tuned to the Living in Lakewood Ranch YouTube channel, and hopefully we can have some updates for you as things progress during this Hurricane Milton. Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company. As you can tell, the cats are not too concerned with this upcoming storm.